Welcome to Sacramento, the underdog city that's quietly gearing up to be California's heavyweight. Everybody's got their eyes on Los Angeles, the Bay Area, San Diego, but hold on to your latte because the River City is about to pull a rabbit out the hat. From a new soccer stadium in the Railyards to a billion-dollar innovation project in the Oak Park district, we're talking new jobs, new density, new energy, and of course, higher property values. I'm going to walk you through every project that's going to fuel demand, drive investment, and of course, raise those home values. Now, as of mid-2025, Sacramento home values were hovering around 495, 497. Places like Midtown were, right around, 670 or so. And, places like Natomas were, up 21% year over year. So strap in because we're about to show you why getting in now will pay off big time in the future. For a very long time, Sacramento's just kind of cruised under the radar. Affordable, functional, solid. But right now, Sacramento's about to creep right into the spotlight. So I'm gonna kind of break this down in two chapters. First, the heavy lifters of those projects that are already funded and breaking ground. Then we're going to hit those secondary accelerators. These are projects that may not be front page news just yet, but they'll quietly be lifting home values across all neighborhoods. We're going to show you maps, we're going to show you stats, and really just demonstrate why getting in now may just be positioning yourself for a major value play. I'm Reese, your Sacramento real estate expert, wannabe dad joke artist, and real estate market whisperer. My team and I love helping people make their move here to Sacramento. First-time homebuyers, relocating, moving up or down. 9 days or 9 months, it's never too soon to reach out. All my contact information is in the description. And make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. That way you don't miss out on any future updates or really any major important information. And of course, the real estate market in the greater Sacramento. All right, now let's dive into those big needle movers. First up, let's talk about the Railyard. Now, construction technically started in mid-August, but there's been a little bit of a stall. Something about dedication to affordable housing. But let me tell you, the city is not going to let this project die. It's going to move forward. It's a 12,000-foot soccer stadium. It's expandable up to 20,000 seats because they're expecting that our team here, Sacramento Republic, will actually become an MLS team here in the future. Now, the original targeted opening was supposed to be 2027. That may be delayed a little bit, like I said, but this project is moving forward. The stadium construction alone is over $250 million, plus another $45 to $50 million in surrounding infrastructure improvements. But that's just the tip. Economic analysis of the project reveals an expected $8.2 billion in real estate construction and impact. Plus, a whopping $4.5 billion in annual economic output. Now they expect this to add about 24,000 jobs countywide with about $2.1 billion in annual salaries. Now the current assessed property value of the Railyards is about $18.5 million. By 2041, expectations are that's going to hit over $6.4 billion. Now that's going to generate nearly $700 million in tax revenue, with the city's portion being about $180 million. Now that's not all that they're building. It's not just a soccer stadium. They're also building luxury lofts and office buildings and restaurants. They really expect the Railyards to be kind of a new like shopping kind of cultural hub. And currently right now, downtown Midtown homes are averaging around $660 million. But with all this development, intuition tells us 20 to 30% plus upside of appreciation in home values across all the neighborhoods around. So that's why I say the Railyard project, the soccer stadium, that is not going to die. This is a massive project. It's going to be huge for Sacramento, and it's going to have ripple effects all across Sacramento. All right, so the next big needle mover we're going to talk about is Aggie Square. This is the UC Davis Innovation District. It's in a partnership with Sacramento, and it's located at the UC Davis Medical Center in Oak Park. So this is going to be huge for that area. So Aggie Square, what is it, right? UC Davis is in West Sacramento, not Sacramento. But this, like I said, this is in partnership with Sacramento. It's going to be huge. Basically, it came on the radar about May of 2025. It's a $1.1 billion innovation district. We're talking labs, classrooms, housing, over 252 beds, public spaces, and all of this is backed by like a 50 million plus community development deal. So Aggie Square sits on the UC Davis Sacramento campus, right there in Oak Park, which is anchored by the UC Davis Medical Center. Now this is really a big deal. It's being billed as Sacramento's version of Kendall Square in Cambridge, Massachusetts, or Mission Bay in San Francisco. One of the major goals behind this project is to really keep Sacramento talent local, keep it here, to attract outside companies to come in and bring tons of investment, millions of dollars in revenue, billions probably, and put Sacramento on the map as a national hub for health and biotech innovation. Now the first phase is already under construction, expected to open sometime in 2026, with multiple phases to commence after that. Now, being in Oak Park, let's talk about home values. The median home price in Oak Park is somewhere between 400 to the low 500s, but all that is about to change. With UC Davis anchoring an urban tech corridor, expect rents and values to just rise. And, again, getting in now could be a major value play for you. But that's not all Oak Park has coming on. Let's talk about what's next for Oak Park. So Oak Park is really up and coming, and St. Hope Schools just dropped $34 million. It's a complete modernization of the PS7 Elementary, and the ribbon cutting was in August of this year. So what's changed? 31 brand new classrooms, state-of-the-art technology, fully renovated admin and cafeteria buildings, redesigned drop-off zones to help out with school time traffic. It's basically doubling the capacity of the school from 350 to 700, and they expect to have over 400 enrolled by 2027. This isn't just a school upgrade, it's a signal flare. South Oak Park is worthy of investment. Families, developers, and buyers, they all see it. So those Oak Park values around 400 to 500, well, this $34 million school investment, the Aggie Square creating the health and the biotech corridor right there in Oak Park. I mean, this is a recipe to just create massive value appreciation and definitely community pride. All right, let's talk a little bit about Sac State, my alma mater. So Sac State has been kind of steadily expanding its footprint beyond just the original East Sacramento campus, with a strong focus on downtown integration. The downtown campus originally launched to host the college continuing education program, public policy programs, and executive training. And it has become really a true bridge between academia, government, and the private sector. Now its location is right there near the Capitol and the government core. And it gives students clear pathways to state government jobs and lobbying and careers in law and, of course, nonprofit organizations. It's truly been positioned both as an educational hub and a civic connector. Lots of classrooms and tons of meeting space, and professional development programs that caters to both working adults and private sector professionals. Now, like many other urban universities, Sac State has faced some challenges with limited on-campus housing and rising rents around the area, which kind of limits housing opportunities. But the good news is that Sac State has made recent moves and made partnerships, to generate mixed-use housing in some of those, buildings that aren't being used for government work anymore. So mixed-use housing in downtown. And this has really some great benefits for not just Sac State, but also for Sacramento, the city itself. I mean, first, it relieves the housing pressure on the main campus. It places a lot more students into the urban fabric of downtown, really increasing that vibrancy of downtown. And it supports the city's goal of making Sacramento downtown more of a 24/7 operation instead of your typical 9 to 5 government kind of city. And as more students live near the DOCO and Midtown and the ice blocks, you can expect spillover into those $1,600 to $2,000 a month rents for the smaller apartments and studios, plus a ton of ripple effect into the surrounding neighborhoods, increasing rents and values. Honestly, the Sac State downtown campus is not just an academic satellite. It's really a strategic lever for workforce development, increased urban housing demand, and it's an evolution of downtown Midtown into a true live, work, and learn district. And all of that is great for increased property values. Now, I mentioned DOCO and implications the Sac State has on that, but let's talk a little bit about Downtown Commons, which has faced some recent challenges. The biggest being that Macy's, a real anchor flagship department store, after 50 years closed its doors in March of 2020. However, just 4 months later, the property was snatched up for $15 million by a local tribal enterprise. Clearly, there's going to be fresh investment on the horizon. Now, what's interesting about this purchase is that it's kind of syncing up with the Midtown DOCO housing market. Homes in this area, which is just east and north of the Golden One Center where the Kings play, they're selling in the range of like $600,000 to $700,000 on average, with premium lots and infill lots, nudging up even higher. It's really reflective of a real demographic shift. More young professionals, downsizers, even those suburban boomerangers, we'll call them, that are kind of circling back to live, in Midtown, downtown, where all the energy is. And the retail strategy in the DOCO is kind of evolving. The traditional department stores like Macy's are exiting, and the emphasis is more on the experiential type, smaller shops. Think like boutique fitness and retail shops, chef-driven restaurants, and like entertainment brands that just can't be replicated and repeated online. This is a pivot that really keeps the foot traffic tied to the downtown Midtown experience and lifestyle. The economic expectations of this is that the foot traffic on non-event days is going to increase by about 40 to 50% in the DOCO. And rents are expected to increase by about 7 to 15%, maybe a little bit less for some of the less desirable lots. And really overall, the expectation is about 10 to 20 million a year increase in revenue, which will happen incrementally, maybe over like the next 2 to 3 years, let's say. All right, let's talk a little bit about sports. Specifically, the Oakland A's are here and they're playing at Sutter Health Park, which is technically in West Sac, but it has huge business implications for Sacramento. The A's will be playing here from 25 through 28 while they're waiting for their Las Vegas stadium to be built. Hopefully there's some delays there, right? But even if they're only here for the 3 years, this is not just some kind of a sports footnote. It's actually a regional and real estate economic event that will have ripple effects that kind of spread out to all the surrounding neighborhoods in both West Sacramento and Sacramento. The stadium itself has already undergone some improvements to house more fans, with more improvements continuing, which, once the A's leave, we're going to have a much better stadium there in West Sac, which kind of lays the footwork for maybe a future professional team. Not to mention an increased experience for River Cats fans, future events at concerts and things like that could be held there at the park as well. And with the temporary stay of the A's, that adds hundreds of thousands of visitors to Sacramento each of these next 3 years, which is a massive increase in sales for restaurants and bars and retail in West Sac, but really a big boom to Sacramento's downtown, the DOCO, and the surrounding areas. So with the Kings at the Golden One Center and the A's at Sutter Health Park, the massive increase in patronage to restaurants and stores, it really just kind of increases that demand for downtown nightlife, cementing that lifestyle even after the A's depart. But baseball fans, crossing the river into Sacramento, this is going to drive a much bigger demand for, short-term rentals and condos in downtown and midtown, and even those new lofts over in the Railyards if they get started on them soon enough. And there's going to be a big spillover effect into Natomas because, Natomas is very easy access into West Sac, and people that are getting priced out of West Sac and downtown will find much more affordability in Natomas. The big deal and impact from this, the intangible impact, is that it's going to kind of create Sacramento's identity as a multi-franchise sport town. We got the Kings, the River Cats, and the A's, even though they're in West Sac. And then, of course, with the Sac Republic FC. Generally, just kind of having us be more well-known for sports, which will drive future investment and bring us those future pro teams. Even after the A's have left and gone off to Vegas and forgotten all about Sacramento and West Sacramento, we're going to have this lasting sports tourism that's been created. And when you put all of this together, more revenue, more tax revenue, higher property values, higher rent values, makes Sacramento a smart play and a great investment. Okay, so those are the heavy hitters that are really driving the demand and the growth and the value with tons of future upside in Sacramento. And if you're thinking, how do I get in right now while the value is still there for that future upside? All the contact information is in the description below. Don't forget to ask me about my special exclusive Heroes programs that I've developed to give back to our first responders, including nurses and our veterans, of course, and then also really the unsung heroes for our children, the teachers and the school employees. This program gives you a very nice incentive, puts thousands of dollars back in your pocket when you buy or sell a home in Sacramento or the surrounding areas. There are some conditions that do apply, but just reach out, book some time on my calendar. We can discuss that and the details and how this will impact and benefit you. Just know the average client gets around $1,500 to $3,000 directly off their closing costs at close. Okay, so before we dive into the secondary drivers of future value, I want to share with you my top 5 hotspots where you're going to see the most appreciation. All right, so number 1, that's going to be the Railyards and the Stadium District. So currently homes in the downtown midtown area, they're averaging about $662 with $8.2 billion in construction and 19,000 jobs inbound. This is a real epicenter with a huge opportunity for appreciation over the next 5 to 10 years. The number 2 opportunity, well, that's going to be Oak Park with the Aggie Square and the St. Hope corridor. Homes here in Oak Park and South Oak Park are around the $400,000 to $500,000 range right now. But with UC Davis's $1.1 billion innovation hub and St. Hope's $34 million modernization project, this is really ground zero for uplift and for values to just go up. And you can get in at a really great price right now. All right, so number 3, that's going to be the DOCO and the Capitol Mall corridor. Current condos there are around, $550 to $700K. And with the Macy's site shifting hands and Sac State ready to drop 1,000 beds, the demand here is just going to swell, particularly for investors. Okay, so that brings us to number 4, and that's going to be the Natomas River District. Now, at the time of this video, Natomas has already popped by 21% year over year, with home values averaging around $500,000 to $600,000. When you add in the River District infill and the transportation expansion, this one's a little bit longer hold, but it's still solid. All right, so my 5th one on my top 5 hotspots for future development and value increase, that's going to be Midtown and the Ice Blocks. It's very lifestyle driven, creative office space, tons of boutique retail. Current homes are about $662. And with ice blocks and conversions, desirability is going to remain high and grow. It's going to be very solid and it's going to rebound even stronger. So those are my top 5 ranked by impact. If you're investing or relocating and you want more information on any of these or all of these areas, don't hesitate to reach out. Again, all the contact information is in the description. All right, now let's dive into these secondary growth factors. Now, the Ice Blocks itself is really just a couple of blocks on the R Street corridor, but it's really breathing new life into Midtown. It's got lots of boutique retail, lots of creative office space and kind of mixed use, and a lot of like foodie but affordable dining. And as I mentioned, right now the median home price in Midtown is around $662. It's maybe cooled a little bit, but you know, all the conversions and new stuff coming into the ice blocks in Midtown, all those other expansion drivers that I talked about, it's going to rebound quickly, and it's going to be a very sound investment. And a lot of people are moving there for the lifestyle. Living in Midtown, living in the DOCO or near the ice blocks, it's kind of a flex. Now, another driver in growth, kind of secondary, is all of the office to home conversions. There's a ton of vacant office space as everybody, you know, during COVID went to working from home, and they haven't come back. And so there's all this office space, and a lot of it is now being converted into condos and apartments and stuff like that. Now, these conversions are typically selling between $600,000 to $800,000, depending on the size and amenities. They are boosting the inventory, but also the density in Sacramento, which does increase value. Now, we spent a little time earlier on the Railyards project, and we also mentioned Natomas. And with all of that transit expansion and freeway expansion, both the Railyards, the River District, and the Natomas area, we can really expect that momentum to increase and values to continue to go up. Now, K Street and Capitol Mall are slated for just a ton of walkability improvements, which is going to really increase that foot traffic heavily. And there's going to be a lot more visitors to that area, increasing demand and sales, etc. Now, a quick note on transportation and expansion of freeways. So a really big thing that's expected to happen is the RT, the Green Line, is going to be expanded to reach all the way to the airport, which would be huge. We also have the Managed Lanes project on I-80, which is one of the most congested stretches of freeway in all of greater Sacramento and Placer County, and it's expected to decrease that congestion heavily. We have I-5 and 50 all being widened, which of course, more lanes, less congestion. And infrastructure investment like this just increases home values. And so this is huge and a great secondary growth factor for Sacramento. Now, remember that Aggie Square that we talked about? Well, if UC Davis continues to invest beyond that phase, just think, massive innovation. The Oak Park and River District property values are just going to substantially increase in value over time. All right, so let's just do a quick recap. I covered all the major and secondary drivers of growth and future development, why there's going to be a big value appreciation in probably 5 to 10 years here in Sacramento. And I gave you the 5 top hotspots for growth and appreciation in Sacramento, those 5 best neighborhoods where you can see the biggest bang for your buck. Where the growth is and why the home values will fall. So here's my parting wisdom for you. Sacramento's next decade is going to be magic. And all these projects and all these areas, these are the wands waving to bring that to life. Let's put you in the front row of that appreciation. So if you're ready to stop scrolling and start dreaming, let's make it happen. All the contact information is in the description. Or if you just want some additional information about any of these areas, or more information on our Heroes program, again, all the contact information is down below in the description. Just reach out anytime. And don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. And we'll see you on the next one. That's a wrap.